Hi! The major idea of uploading videos for me is to let you guys know something new about Russia and its culture. I am Russian and it's very important for me to share unknown sides of my country with others. Usually I end up speaking about writers of Russia and their books, but this time I want to change direction a little bit. I want to tell you about a Russian chemist and photographer who saved the Russian Empire in color for the future generations of Russians and people all around the world. I want to tell you about Sergey Mickhaylovich Prokudin-Gorsky. He was among the first photographers who began taking colored photos. Obviously, I'm not much of a photographer myself, that's why I'm not going to tell you about the method Prokudin-Gorsky used to get his colored pictures. I had better show you the pictures themselves that we still can enjoy looking at even after all these years. In the start of the 20th century, my country was called the Russian Empire. And when we think of this distant time, something like this comes in our minds. And needless to say, it represents the reality quite accurately. Except one important detail, the color absence. And it's Prokudin-Gorsky who got us all to see how bright and colorful the Russian Empire truly was. Prokudin-Gorsky traveled all over the country and took pictures using his self-invented method of producing colorful photos. He ended up his trip with tons of various photos which were taken in almost every corner of the empire. His colored photos showed not only famous and easily recognizable places of the country, he also wanted to depict how average Russia lived, the way usual people celebrated holidays, got married, prayed, died. Looking at his photos is a priceless experience as you get to see every little detail of outfits, buildings, environments. It's like as if you go to a museum, realizing that everything you see is not a reproduction, but indeed a real life depicted by the photographer, is what makes the experience memorable and distinctive. Russia has always been a multicultural country, and it's nice to see that Prokudin-Gorsky has deliberately dedicated the significant part of his time and talent to capture not only the central Russia, but also distant corners of the empire, where the population had a noticeably different way of life. Unfortunately, as lives of many Russian people, life of Prokudin-Gorsky was drastically changed in 1917, the year when old Russia had gone forever. His beloved country was desolated in many ways. The initial spirit of Russia was demolished at its core. Many people who genuinely loved Russia were forced to emigrate, mostly to West European countries. The Prokudin-Gorskys ended up living in France, where the famous photographer died in 1944. His family members were not sure they can provide all the necessary measures to save the photo collection, and eventually they made a difficult decision to sell it. The United States bought the collection, and now it's still being kept in the Library of Congress, on which website you can find all the Prokudin-Gorsky's photos online. For modern Russians, looking at Prokudin-Gorsky's photos might give a bittersweet taste. I mentioned that the old Russia has gone forever, but the places from the Prokudin-Gorsky's photos still exist. I've got to tell you, they look far different now, and I'm not saying about positive changes. Everything Russia has been through in the 20th century has devastated its culture and architecture. Some damage was so significant, it cannot be rectified. As you probably know, the Soviet Russia denied any religion and therefore neglected churches, if not destroyed them. I think at this point in the video it's a good time to make a small conclusion. I believe that Prokudin-Gorsky's photos is a treasure, since it represents Russia most of us never knew. It gives us a unique chance to go back in time and witness something long forgotten in color. Hope you enjoyed watching this video, and if you guys got to know today something new and interesting, then I recommend that I did what I intended to do. Thanks for watching and see you next time.